Okay, so today we're jumping into the sources on something that gets people pretty worked up, the Carlinkit Tbox Lite.
Ah, yes. The little dongle.
Exactly. The promise is huge, right? Turn your car's basic wired screen into a full Android system. We're talking Netflix, YouTube, Play Store access.
The whole package. A three-in-one wireless dream, supposedly.
And the price is, well, incredibly low, like 55 to maybe 89 bucks.
Which sounds fantastic. But that's our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? Does that cheap convenience actually, work, or does reality bite?
Yeah, where do the promises crash into the real world budget tech limits?
It's always about the trade-offs.
Yeah.
Especially at this price point, you're absolutely looking for what got cut, what compromises were made, and how that friction feels for the user.
Right. And the specs alone signal, well, some confusion right off the bat. Sources mention this weird upgrade path.
Oh, yeah, the Lite versus the Lite S.
Exactly. The original Lite had Android 10, which is newer, but just 2 gigs of RAM. Then the improved Lite S gets 4 gigs of RAM, which sounds better.
Right.
Runs Android 9, an older OS. Yeah. Why would you downgrade the operating system for an upgrade? That feels backwards.
Well, it tells you a lot about their priorities, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They likely realized 2 GB just wasn't cutting it. Not for video, apps, wireless, all at once.
Uh-huh.
So they probably thought, okay, let's throw more RAM at it.
Yeah.
4 GB. But maybe to keep costs down, or maybe for stability with their chosen chipset, they had to stick with or revert to the older Android 9.
So they sacrificed software modernity, security patches, maybe newer app compatibility for just raw memory.
Seems like it. They hoped brute force RAM would paper over the cracks of using essentially what the sources called 2020 budget phone hardware.
And those hardware well, they really show up in the user experience, don't they? The sources are full of complaints.
Oh, definitely. It's not just minor glitches. We're talking connection times of like 2 to 3 minutes if it connects properly at all.
And the crashes, black screens after maybe 10 minutes, freezing completely on the boot logo, getting stuck in restart loops.
Yeah, constant restarts seem common. And think about the apps themselves. Sluggish downloads, Spotify apparently just refusing to install sometimes.
And YouTube audio delays. That seems pretty fundamental for a media device.
It really is. If you can't get audio synced on YouTube, what's the point?
Yeah.
It points to a core problem, likely that chipset just struggling under load.
Okay, so users hit these problems, they contact support, and this leads to what you called the convenience paradox.
Right. The whole reason you buy this thing is to ditch the wires, yeah, for that clean wireless CarPlay or Android Auto experience, plus the apps.
But support often says, what? It's your car's fault.
Pretty much. They blame the factory USB port for not providing enough power, which, okay, might be true sometimes, but they're fix.
Let me guess. Buy another cable?
Bingo. An external power cable, often a Y cable that pulls power from a different course, like the 12V outlet.
So the wireless solution needs a new wire to actually work reliably.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic, isn't it? You end up with more wires, potentially, than you started with.
Yeah.
The interface itself isn't great. No proper back button.
Just those floating buttons that everyone seems to hate.
Exactly. They just clutter things up. And compatibility is another headache.
Yeah, the sources mentioned BMWs are basically a no-go. Probably their system actively fights these things.
Likely. And even with other brands, Mazda, Hyundai Ioniq, newer Toyotas from 23, 24, they often need that external power cable just to be stable.
And sometimes the dongle itself physically blocks the car's wireless charging pad, just adding insult to injury.
It happens. So, you piece it all together.
And what's the picture? The basic function, the wireless CarPlay or Android Auto, can work if you sort out the power.
Right. If you potentially buy the extra cable, get it powered adequately, yeah, you can get that wireless connection. And watching Netflix while parked? Sure, technically possible.
But smooth performance, a modern feel, reliable connections every time.
Forget it. The budget price really dictates what you get here. You have to set your expectations really, really low.
So for you, the learner listening to this, the takeaway is you get what you pay for, maybe even a bit less once you factor in the hassle.
Absolutely. And that brings up a final thought. The fancier Carlinkit Tbox, the one with Android 13, it costs around $215.
Okay, significantly more.
Right. But when this budget, $55 or $80 Lite version, needs you to buy extra cables, spend hours troubleshooting crashes, deal with lag and audio delays.
You start to wonder about the real cost.
Exactly. Are you actually saving money? How much is your time worth? How much is the frustration worth? What's the true cost of saving maybe $100 up front for tech that's supposed to be convenient but ends up being well, kind of inconvenient.
Something to definitely consider before clicking buy on that super cheap gadget.